This is Đà Nẵng TV News brought to you by the Đà Nẵng Radio and Television. My name is Turi. In today's news, we feature the following headlines. WHO warns about prolonged COVID-19 epidemic. Vietnam strives to become stable and prosperous digital country. Vinaphone's 5G network is 10 times faster than 4G. The World Health Organization, or WHO, warns that the COVID-19 crisis will not end soon because many countries are in the early stage of the fight against the epidemic. The United States is still the country with the highest number of infections and deaths, with more than 848,000 infections and more than 46,500 deaths. After the United States, Europe is currently still a hotspot of the COVID-19 epidemic. Notably, Russia recorded the highest number of new infections in Europe, with more than 5,200 cases. However, although the number of new cases and deaths remains high, the epidemic spread has been slowed down significantly. The number of new deaths is in the range of 6,000 to 7,000 cases, equal to one-half or one-third compared to the period of the hot development. After 3 weeks of social distancing under the Prime Minister's Directive No. 16, Đà Nẵng has well controlled the COVID-19 epidemic. The city will continue to maintain health control and surveillance activities at the airport, seaport and train station, while stopping the operation of road checkpoints at the gateways to the city. Regarding the isolation of citizens from epidemic-hit localities, the City People's Committee directed to suspend the isolation of citizens from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City since April the 23rd, but instruct them to monitor their health and take epidemic prevention and control measures as prescribed. Suspected cases must be tested and take medical isolation measures as prescribed. At the government's Standing Committee's meeting on COVID-19 prevention and control taking place on April the 22nd afternoon, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc agreed with the report on the plan for the high school graduation exam 2020 of the Ministry of Education and Training and assigned chairman of the People's Committees of provinces and cities to be fully responsible for. Appreciating the initiative of the Ministry of Education and Training in making the plan for the high school graduation exam in the context of the epidemic situation, the Prime Minister asked the Ministry to issue regulations and guidelines for the high school graduation exam, as well as prepare for the week of university and college enrollments. Since April the 23rd, the railway sector resumed the operation of the pair of Thống Nhất passenger trains SE12 on the north-south route. These trains are almost full after localities relaxed social distancing rules. However, passengers are required to take measures to prevent epidemic, such as wearing face masks, making medical declarations, and following other regulations. The Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh Railway will gradually increase the frequency of passenger trains to 3 pairs of trains per day, including SE12, SE34, and SE56. These trains will only stop at big stations, including Hanoi, Huế, Đà Nẵng, Sài Gòn, and vice versa. For local trains, although only a pair of trains is allowed to operate per route per day, the railway sector will only resume the operation of Hanoi-Vinh route and Hanoi-Hải Phòng route. Passengers who buy tickets for Hanoi-Vinh route will receive a discount of 10 to 30%. The World Bank has just released a new migration and remittance report, which forecasts that global remittances will drop by about 20% due to the economic crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to the stagnancy of many activities. The amount of remittances flowing into oil fields of the World Bank Group forecast to sharply decrease, most notably in the Europe and Central Asia, 27.5%, followed by Sub-Saharan Africa, 23.1%, South Asia, 22.1%, the Middle East and North America, 19.6%, Latin America and Caribbean, 19.3%, and East Asia and Pacific, 13%. Vietnam is the third largest recipient of remittances in the East Asia and Pacific region in 2019. The amount of remittances sent to Vietnam last year reached $17 billion, accounting for 6.5% of GDP. According to the Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers, in the first 3 months of this year, the COVID-19 epidemic made a great impact on Vietnam's pangasius export to many foreign markets. The total pangasius export value reached $334 million, down by 29% compared to the same period last year. However, Vietnam's pangasius export activity has started showing more positive signs when major markets such as China, Hong Kong, and the United States have experienced good growth again. Since March 2020, the Vietnam's pangasius export value to these markets has reached nearly $35 million, up by more than 109% compared to January 2020. China and Hong Kong became the Vietnam's largest pangasius import market in the first quarter of this year. For the U.S. market, Vietnam's pangasius export in March 2020 reached $23 million, up by 26% over the same period in 2019. Striving to develop Vietnam into a stable and prosperous digital country is the goal set in the draft decision of the Prime Minister on approving the program on developing the information technology and electronics telecommunications industries by 2025 with a vision to 2030 towards the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Specifically, the program sets the target of achieving the annual turnover growth in the information technology and electronics telecommunications industries twice the growth of national GDP. Under the program, Vietnam will have around 50,000 information technology and electronics telecommunications companies, of which 10 large companies will play a leading role and are internationally competitive with the revenue of at least $1 billion. The program also aims to have 10 provinces and cities generating an average information technology and electronics telecommunications turnover of more than $1 billion each. From May the 11th to the 24th, the Google Developers Group Miền-Trung, in collaboration with the Đà Nẵng Entrepreneurship Support and Google Developers Group Vietnam, will organize the Vietnam Online Hackathon 2020. The contest aims to encourage programmers to build applications and websites to meet the digital transformation needs of small and medium-sized enterprises during the COVID-19 outbreak and in the post-COVID-19 period. Registration deadline is May the 10th. The 50 most outstanding projects will be selected to participate in the Hackathon Week, which is scheduled to take place from May the 15th to 21st. These project developers will be required to perfect their pitches with the help of mentors. 10 finalists will join the demo day, which will be live-streamed with no live audience on May the 24th. Vinaphone's 5G network had just tested for optimal quality of 2.2 gigabits per second, ready for the implementation in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi in the time to come after being licensed. According to test results, the download speed of Vinaphone's 5G network reaches more than 2.2 gigabits per second, 10 times faster than that of 4G network. In particular, the experimental Vinaphone's 5G network is integrated into the existing radio, transmission, and quan networks, making it more optimal for commercial use after mastering the technology. The representative of VNPT said that Vinaphone's 5G network will not only provide super speed data, but also bring digital ecosystem to users, e-government platforms, and smart cities, showing its pioneering role in providing new generation mobile services in Vietnam. Currently, in the city center, there are many important and urgent constructions that need to be started soon, so the Đà Nẵng People's Committee and districts are speeding up the progress of clearance and compensation and resettlement to timely hand over premises to construction contractors. Specifically, the City People's Committee requested directors of related departments and agencies to focus on resolving problems and recommendations of districts under the guidance of the City People's Committee, promptly reporting and proposing the handling of problems beyond their competency to the City People's Committee. Besides, investors and project managers are requested to closely coordinate in completing the procedures related to site clearance and compensation, mobilizing residents to hand over their premises and supporting construction for each project. It is expected that in May 2020, the project to renovate 6 weak bridges on the North-South Railway route running through Da Nang City and Quảng Province will be started. The Weak Bridge Improvement Project in the Central Region is the first bidding package in the project of renovating and upgrading weak railway bridges and reinforcing anti-collision pillars on the Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh Railway route. The total investment of the project is nearly 2 trillion đồng, divided into 11 bidding packages with the scale of 129 bridges. The above-mentioned project is in the 7 trillion đồng package to implement 4 projects to renovate and upgrade the Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh City Railway route in the 2016-2020 period. And now let's take a look at our updated weather forecasts. And that's it for today's news. Don't forget to check out DaNangTV.vn to rewatch our programs. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.